It 2-1 and 3-1, Kuhn and Kyogo. But City early in the second half pulled it back through Peroni and then Erling Haaland before a winning goal for Palma made it a slightly disappointing evening, but to be truthful, the scoreline is pretty academic. It was City 3, Celtic 4. It was also a really good workout at the start of the USA Tour. Well, let's go back to the studio and we can join Kel, and with him is Steve Howey and Kit Symons.
Thank you so much to Alistair Mann and Andy Morrison, and thank you to you for joining us on Matchday Live. My name is Cel Spellman. It is full-time over in North Carolina, and it's finished Manchester City 3, Celtic 4. Lots of goals. Sadly, not the score draw we thought here in the studio with Steve and Kit. Steve, overall, what was your assessment of our first pre-season game?
I think the manager be happy with that. Yep. Again, I think the main aim was get a good workout, no injuries. It didn't look as though anybody had injuries. I mean, yeah, the lads will be a little bit sore and stiff in that tomorrow, but you know that's part and parcel of pre-season.
Of course.
Second half, I thought was decent. Boys come out and. I think the manager only made 3 subs, I think, for the second half. So imposed themselves a little bit more and ultimately got it back to 3-3. Unfortunate with their 4th goal. But overall, I think the manager will definitely get some positives out of that.
We were going to run through all the goals in just a second, Kit, but we talked about before the game the importance of, obviously, we're getting people like Jack and Erling, and great to see Edison there, but those first-team players we know up to full strength, but also an opportunity for our young players to shine. And Alistair Mann said it there, a lot of them played with confidence. Did you like what you saw from some of our young players?
Yeah, very much, yeah. I mean, like I say, the goals were... it's a big step up for the young players, so the goals were a little bit of inexperience and naivety, which you sort of expect that.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, really, really bright. So, no, a lot of good performances, and some of the boys, the changes second half, and Darla we spoke about was very good, really caught the eye. So no, I think it was a really worthwhile sort of run out and a lot of benefits from it.
We also spoke about that, you know, Celtic are probably a little bit ahead as far as kind of their go back to full strength schedule. They've already had a weeks before they came out. This is their second game of their tour. You could really see that they were that little bit sharper and quicker, but I guess that's almost a baptism of fire. Good for us to see the pace that we need to be getting up to pretty quickly, particularly the young players. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, as I said, we said at half-time, you could tell there's a difference. You know, even if you're playing, you know, a Conference League team, if they've had 3 or 4 weeks ahead of you, or 3 weeks ahead of you, they're going to be fitter, they're going to be that little bit sharper. But when you played against a top team like Celtic, and let's be honest, Celtic's a top team. You know, they get in the Champions League week, year in, year out. You could just see the movement, the passing, the shutting down, just the sort of intensity of them just seemed that little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at their team, it's probably the team that's going to start the season, and that's only, what, 10 days away? So they're not very far away from being pretty much there for the start of the season. As we've mentioned, you're not quite there even on the first game of the season. There's still that little bit of rust, but I thought what the lads did, I thought, as I said, I think we talk about the manager, we know he's a perfectionist, but I think ultimately he'd be very pleased with that.
Absolutely.
I thought it sort of evened up second half, to
Agreed.
be fair.
Yeah.
And I thought, my feelings were Pep probably had strong words with the back line at half-time and said, be proactive, be on your front foot. Yeah. Step up, because there was too big a gap between the back four and midfield first half. But second half, we pushed up a lot better and squeezed that space, and the game we said about the little pockets where Celtic were picking up in the first half didn't really happen so much second half. Unfortunately, the goal that we did concede second half had come with just made changes, and then there's no pressure on the ball, and we were then too high. People didn't stay with the runner. I mean, no pressure on the ball, you got to stay away. Is like sort of rule of thumb for defending.
It's great to know, though, as you say, it was actually just a small tweak. It was nothing massive at all that needed change. And as you say, bar towards the end, I can't really remember Celtic creating too much in that second half. Let's pause here because FG is over in North Carolina. He's joining the boys on their pre-season tour. There's been some great stuff going out online as well. But I think he has managed to find Joleon, Lescott and Shaun Wright-Phillips. I'm hoping you've got them back in check, FG. Let's see what they had to make of our first pre-season game against Celtic.
Hello, welcome back to the Keenan Memorial Stadium. Manchester City 4-3 losers today, but a lot of positives, Joleon.
Yeah, of course. No injuries, and I think Pep said that in the press conference yesterday. That was the most important factor to this game. Listen, the outcome isn't relevant in regards to the scoreline, so no injuries, so it's a plus.
Some really good minutes in the tank, Shaun. Oscar Bob, impressed, involved in every goal. Nice assist, 2 goals as well.
Honestly, he's always impressed me when I watch him play, whether he scores or whether he doesn't. His attributes that he brings to the game is something different. But I mean, like the kids just played against the Champions League side. They held their own. Like I'm proud of what I saw. Of course, it wasn't a result we wanted, but the positives are all there.
Positives indeed. There was extra minutes as well for Jack and Erling. They stayed on the pitch a little bit longer. We sort of questioned whether it would be 45 minutes, 11 changes, but it's really nice to see them both looking sharp. Jack looked really, really good, and Erling got a good goal as well.
Yeah, obviously. I'm sure the scoreline may have impacted that, the change at half-time. I think if it was a reverse scoreline in terms of 3-1 up, they may have come off. But listen, extra minutes in the tank, no injuries, it's a plus. It's a plus.
It's a plus indeed. What about the other players, the younger players? Who are you most impressed with, Shaun?
Been a lot of them, to be fair. I would say, like, all of them in general, for me, did pretty well. I think if you look at some of the goals, you might say Josh's positioning, but at the end of the day, this is like a big check for them. This is welcome to Man City's first team sort of thing. So they needed that experience, and I know everyone's going to grow and grow from that moment, but I've had these harsh lessons. Joleon's had these harsh lessons. You need them to understand this is the level you need to be at.
How important is that, Joleon? Because you were speaking about it a bit at half-time, saying that it's really a good thing that the younger players will learn from it.
100%. It's not about them doing well, it's about them learning, and you sometimes learn more from bad experiences, so that's important. The fact that they've been able to experience different players, and a lot of them, this would be the highest level of competitor, the opponent they've faced, and whether it's strength, pace, tactical ability, understanding of the game, they wouldn't have experienced all them components in one so far. So it's a massive learning curve, and hopefully something they'll cherish and realise there's still a bit of way to go for them as individuals.
Yeah, there's definitely a long way to go in their careers, but there's also a long way to go on this US tour. So this result isn't really... The results are not important in pre-season, are they, Shaun?
You always want to win, so let's not get away from that. But no, like Joleon said, first of all, the biggest thing is we've come away from there with no injuries. Second thing is, Holland and Jack, Calvin, like some of them have played 45 minutes and a little bit more, and now you've got the kids. We're seeing the next generation coming forward, which I think is important for everybody here and all of us lot, because we know what's coming next. But we just keep moving and keep moving, and once the season comes, we know we're going to be ready.
Yeah, we are. There's, of course, a long way to go to the season, a long way to go on this US tour. Thoughts on how it's been here in Chapel Hill, Joleon?
Warm, humid. I'm going to say humid. So, yeah, thank you, Chapel Hill. It's been appreciated, very hospitable city, so thank you all.
Yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant. We're heading to New York next, and we will see you there. Thanks for watching us in Chapel Hill.
Thanks, FG. Thank you, Joleon, and thank you, Shaun. I love that bit Joleon said there, which is basically kind of echoing what we're saying. You know, that actually that you're going to get the biggest lessons in the harder moments, and that's what all those young players have got. Steve.
Yeah, it's true enough. Sometimes you do learn more from real disappointments. And I'm not saying that's a real disappointment, because I thought the lads did ever so well. But certainly, you know, when you make mistakes, your eyes are like kind of all of a sudden wide open, and you're thinking, wow, yeah, I've got to do this, I've got to do that better, this better, that better. And it's a brilliant learning curve for them. So that's, even though they'll be disappointed in themselves slightly about certain things, as long as they learn from it, that makes them certainly going to be better players.
Absolutely, that's the most important thing. Let's run through all the goals then. Lots of goals. Wasn't the score draw as predicted. Not either the start City wanted either kit, and as we said, there was the middle of the play there not getting stopped, and maybe slight positioning defensively.
Yeah, it's picking up in the pocket and then Obviously, yeah, Wilson, yeah, got caught infield a little bit for the first one. This was great play from us though. Lovely over from Erling Haaland, and finished from Oscar Bob. He's been a bit unfortunate, Michael. Got something on it.
Yeah, we've been knocking on the door.
We've been cracking those overloads, and you felt that goal was coming.
Then, not kind of too long after that, Steve, it was a bit of a carbon copy of their first goal in a way, and they were back ahead with 2-1.
Yeah, this is the thing we were talking about. Maybe it's the learning kind of. You're learning from mistakes. That's it. Wilson, he gets caught out. The centre half doesn't cover himself from glory a little bit. He's too focused on the ball rather than being a little bit more open and opening his body up. It is difficult, but even just have a look over your shoulder rather than opening your body wide open, because then you have to backpedal, ultra quick. But it's again, as I said, it's just one of them things that you learn from.
And then we said about he was a bit quiet in the first half. Kit must have heard you.
Must have heard me. Great start to brilliant from Oscar Bob, and a lovely little finish as well. Took his finish nice and early and slotted it into the far corner. But brilliant from Oscar Bob, who had another assist in a minute. We're going to see. So
he did indeed. Well, here he is again, Kit, and a lovely work as well there from Ndala, I think it was.
And once you hang that ball up to the back post, you know the big man's going to win that. I mean, as a Champions League centre back, he's just climbing all over and scoring with ease.
It was funny, because I was watching that lad when he was coming up for corners, and he had his arms out as though he was carrying two big rolls of carpet and sticking his chest out, and then Erling Haaland just kind of made him look like a little boy.
An absolute child, didn't he? It was a little potential maybe offside, but it wasn't. It was a greatly timed run there from, I can't remember who it was for Celtic, but it was a beautiful run from deep, and not much you can do with that, I'm guessing. No,
I mean, again, I mean, even experienced back fours get caught with runs like that, because it's a great run.
Yeah.
You can have that communication, but once you get done and you haven't took that step back, or you stick to your line, if the lad times it right, he times it right. So, I wouldn't necessarily blame the back four as such for that. It's a great run. Obviously, he's got two lads there, which you can just easily slot the ball to. He picks one of them.
That was it, isn't it? 4-3 is the full-time result here, but as we said, so many positives to take. It's the first game of our pre-season. We're only a week coming back from training as well here in Manchester. Our young players getting a run out, of course, great to see Jack on the pitch, Erling Haaland getting a goal, and more players to join us. I believe Gvardiol and Kovacic will be coming back from their break, obviously, given how far Croatia got. So they should be with us for the weekend, hopefully, Kit. Milan is the next opponent. It's always quite fun, we're coming up against big teams, but what are you hoping to see from the game at the weekend?
Similar type of thing to tonight, really. You want to get, again, more minutes into the players, get that sharpness, just picking up a little bit closer towards the start of the season. So, same sort of thing again as tonight. Obviously, hopefully, if it's a similar young back four again, they've learnt a few lessons from that, and it is part of a learning process, and we need that front foot defending. Be aggressive with their defending, as Steve was saying at half-time. One's got to go out and press, and the other one can come around, or you've got to trust each other to do your jobs, but be proactive with it.
Absolutely. Before we go, just any of the young players that particularly caught your eye, you're excited to see more of?
Well, I think we spoke about Oscar Bob doing better in the second half, which I think he did. Ndala,
yes,
I was impressed with him.
Yeah.
And I wrote down here, is it Sohu?
Yeah, it's Sissoko.
Sissoko.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked decent. I mean, to be fair, all of them, I thought, did themselves very, very, very proud tonight, because that step up to play against a team of the Celtic players' calibre is a tough ask, and I thought they did it fantastically well. And
there was I know you mentioned Ndala as well. Any others that jumped out for you, Kit, or we covered them there?
I think we... Phillips again. O'Reilly, first half. O'Reilly first half did well. He caught the eye, showed some really nice touches, and timed a couple of great forward runs as well.
Did, yeah. It looked like he could play across the three as well, which was nice. Exactly. Seems they've all got that these days. They can play about 5%. Rico Lewis as well, I should mention. He was left back, centre half, right back, holding midfielder. So you could see there he was definitely leading the way for all those young people. Kit, thank you so much. Steve, an absolute pleasure as well. Really appreciate both your time and appreciate your times as well. So we are back. We are with you for this full pre-season tour. We're going to have a special preview show for you on Friday at 8 o'clock. And then, of course, we've got the game at the weekend in New York against Milan. We'll be hearing more from FG, from Joleon and Shaun Wright-Phillips, and a whole lot more. Make sure you keep your eye on all socials. And don't forget to watch all the Manchester City pre-season games to get access to exclusive documentaries and watch our academy boys and our women's team. You can sign up to City Plus now and you'll be able to watch that game come the weekend. Until then, though, have a lovely rest of the week and thanks for watching. The season's back underway, my friends. Come on, City.
We are ready to do it all again. There'll be many ups and downs between now and May, but this is where the journey all begins.
Celtic are champions of Scotland again!
You were handpicking two teams who you felt could put on a footballing show. It would be City and Barcelona. Here is Alvarez. Haaland! That is a terrific move from City. Sterling scores!